Sure.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to our continuing coverage from Radio Row at Super Bowl 60 with Anthony Smith, the Senior Vice President non-scripted at Smack Productions.
Yes.
You have a number of different programs that are coming out that feature ex-NFL stars.
We do.
Deion Sanders,
Yes.
Michael Vick,
Yes.
and others.
Yes.
What led you down this path of following, in this particular case, players that are going into this coaching route?
Wow, so it's funny. The long story is, we talked about this briefly off camera. I started the NFL back in 2005, and I got to know a lot of these players.
NFL Network.
NFL Network in 2005, and got to know a lot of these players as they were playing. So Michael Vick, I knew him as he was playing. Michael Strahan, I met him as he was a player. Deion towards the end of his career, as he was just moving into this. So building those relationships with a lot of those players, kind of led me down this path of this particular brand of storytelling. And with Michael in particular, we did a project 2 years ago that aired on Amazon Prime Video. We were documenting the evolution of the black quarterback. And over the course of that series, I was with him for 2 years, traveling across the country, talking to Warren Moon and Jamie Foxx and Cam Newton and Dak Prescott and Josh Allen in Buffalo, and we're talking to everybody. So I really got to know him over the course of those 2 years. And one of the things that really jumped out to me about him was that he wanted to give back, he wanted to work with young kids, he wanted to be a mentor, and he kept saying that at some point he wanted to be a coach. He didn't know when that was going to be, but at some point that was going to happen. On that journey, he came to Colorado, spent some time with Deion Sanders, and him and Deion, I remember this was 2004, had a long conversation about coaching in particular. And Deion was like, you don't have to wait. It's like, if you're ready to do it, if you want to do it, go try to do it now. A couple of months later, Michael gives me a call. He's like, look, there's going to be some news that breaks next week. I can't tell you what it is yet, but when it breaks, I'm going to call you back. Let me know if you want to be a part of this.
It's interesting that he met with Deion. Deion's had a lot of prominent players on his staff, over the first few years here in Colorado. I'm a little surprised Michael didn't join that. I wonder if that was an opportunity for him.
Yeah, I mean, look, they definitely talked, and but Michael, one of the things that I remember Deion telling him is that, you don't necessarily have to take a job, as a coordinator. You don't have to take a job as a position coach. If you feel like your calling is to be a head coach, go and do it. And it's funny, like a week later, Deshaun Jackson was there in Colorado with Deion,
and
talking the same thing. So a lot of these guys have gone to Deion just asking for advice. But doing Coach Prime, you saw a lot of that. You saw a lot of people coming in. It was like that was like a who's who of people coming in from.
Having been around it, because there's so many ex-players now. I think Deion was such a success story. Jackson State went off to Colorado. I think kind of opened maybe people's minds about it. Because Clinton Portis is doing it, Deshaun Jackson's doing it, Michael Vick is doing it, Eddie George has been doing it. What do you think the lure is for the ex-players to kind of head down this track?
Well, look, I think that for some of them, seeing Deion and seeing the fact that he did it, and he had success at Jackson State, had initial success at Colorado. They had a rough year last year, but the fact that Deion has had success. He's had success working with kids, and he has managed to be himself and to stay himself. I think is also something that some of these players have latched onto, and that has inspired them to be like, hey, look, we can do it. We can be ourselves. And still try to pursue these dreams of coaching. And you see that with Michael, because Michael's not Deion Sanders. It's like there's only one Deion Sanders, but there's also only one Michael Vick, and Michael's not trying to be Deion. Was around Deshaun this year at Delaware State. He's not trying to be Deion. They're all being themselves, but I think that
nobody's Deion. Deion's a supernova.
Deion's a unicorn. But the one thing that I do think is consistent with everybody, and being around, I was with Marshall last year also, is that they all are themselves. Like, they're not trying to be Bill Belichick or Tony Dungy or Mike Vrabel. They're being themselves, which is cool to see. And I think Deion, in many ways, has inspired them to be true to themselves.
You've done the Coach Prime series.
Yes.
You're working on other projects with him.
What
can you tell us about Deion Sanders when you're filming with it? Because everybody sees the public appearances and how he interacts with the press.
He's the
what
same.
Can you tell us about
He's
Deion?
the same.
Yeah.
It's like, it's interesting. I was just with him for 4 hours last year doing the interview for this Netflix doc we're doing with him, this series. And the one thing that I've learned about Deion Sanders over almost 20 years of being around him, whether it's at NFL Network or now at SMAC, is that he's consistent. It's like he is consistent. Cameras turn off or on, he's still prime. Him around his kids, it's the same way. Like Shiloh probably does the best job of kind of poking fun and poking at that image, but he's the same. It's like he is literally the same prime character.
You did get to follow Michael Vick around in his first year at Norfolk State, and you have the Coach Vick experience that's coming out. So what can you share about the experience of that and what people can see when they watch this series?
So what I would say is, like, one of the things that I think is unique about this show, because we've done Coach Prime, our showrunner on the show, Jackson Nguyen, was Floyd Mayweather's point person during peak Floyd Mayweather on 24/7. So we've done these type of shows. But the thing that I think makes this one unique is that it's documenting the sport. It's documenting the college football in this standpoint, in this instance, but it's just as equal a family show. It's Roseanne, it's Fresh Prince, it's Home Improvement. Like, it is a family sitcom. He's got one kid that just got out of college. He has another kid that's in college. One that's a senior in high school, figuring out what college he wants to go through. Then they have the 7-year-old who's running around causing chaos. He moves home. His mom is there. And his mom and Kiafra, Mike's wife, have a very unique dynamic. As many of them, mothers and mother-in-laws and wives have. His dad's around, so it's seeing the family dynamic is really funny. And I think that's what's universal about it. Yeah. It's like the backdrop is football, and following him as he's trying to build this team up is very captivating. But him at home hanging out with the kids, and them trying to figure out what the Halloween costume is and that sort of thing. It's like what made the Osbournes so unique back when the Osbournes was out. There's a lot of that kind of DNA. It's like, where do I go now? What do I do? How the ice machine's not working? It's a lot of that kind of stuff also.
It's very cool. Yeah. Anthony Smith is the Senior Vice President, Non-Scripted at SMAC Productions. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.